I have a number of Windows 10 machines that I tend to run the insider previews on. Now, recently I've been noticing that Windows Update's been failing on them. Trying to upgrade to the latest version of Insider Preview, for example, keeps failing. Goes through the whole process, which, as you know, can take a little while. And then at the end, in the message center over here, I get a message saying I couldn't install the updates, and you're back on the same version. It's very frustrating because, of course, then that the process starts again. Now, it is not as easy to fix as you'd imagine. There's some various instructions on there how to do it, but I've come up with a solution for me that certainly works on my machine. So I thought I'd show you what that solution is. So it's pretty easy. The first thing I'm going to do is fire up the services console, which is services.msc, which you can see there. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just find the Windows Update service. Now it's usually set on manual. If it's running, stop it. Just right click and select stop. And just for now, just change it to disabled. There we go. Hit apply. Windows Update now can't run. Now the next thing I'm going to do is fire up a DOS prompt, or command prompt, sorry, and it needs to be as an administrator. The way we do that is find our command over here, just type it in, right click, run as administrator. We might get the account control pop up, and there it is. Now there are some commands that we need to do, and there's some stuff that we need to do. The first thing we need to do is stop some services. Now they're in my blog article, I'll link to that in the video, but there's those three commands that we need to do. You can copy and paste them in from my blog if you want. There we go. Now there are a couple of folders that we need to deal with. So what you need to do is open the Windows folder. We're in System 32 at the moment. I'm just going to use Start, which will fire up Explorer. And you'll see that it's in my Windows folder. And what I'm going to do is find the Software Distribution folder, which is that one. Okay, and I'm going to rename it. Can't quite see. There you go. Rename it, and I'm just going to put .bak on the end. Now if you get an error saying that it can't rename it for whatever reason, then it probably means that Windows Update isn't stopped. So go into services and just double check to make sure that it's stopped. Now to be honest, I normally just blow away that folder rather than just backing it up, because sometimes it can be quite large. Mine isn't, because I've just cleaned it up just before I made this video, but sometimes it can be lots of gig of storage in there. Now the next thing we're going to do is pop into System 32, and you're looking for a folder called catroot2. Now be careful here, it's definitely catroot2 that you want, not catroot. And what we want to do is rename that one. Now you might run into an issue when you do this, and I'll show you. If I do rename, I've already made a backup here when I was fixing this earlier. So I'm going to rename it as back1. Okay, so I'll get the normal account control, but then you may run into this, because it says the can't be completed because the folder or file is opened. Now the reason you get that is because the crypto service, it has a few dependencies, so it goes off and restarts itself. So the way you fix it is pop back into the DOS prompt or the command prompt and stop the service. Now as soon as it stops, there you go, hit that try again button, and what you'll see is now it's renamed it. Okay. If you want, you can blow those away rather than actually back them up. But, you know, just being safe, it kind of makes sense. So we'll get rid of that. Now, the next thing we need to do, there's a couple of commands. I don't know if I need them all the time here. Some of the times when I see the failures, I don't have to reset the security descriptor. Sometimes I do. So I've started doing it anyway. So what you can do with these two commands is just copy them out. Pop them into the command there. You should see that the descriptor's a success. There you go. Now the final thing we need to do is just re-enable our Windows Update. So don't set it automatic, doesn't need to be. Just set it to manual. Hit apply, OK, and off you go. You can now close this down. Now what you should be able to do now is just simply reboot the machine, go through and check your Windows updates again. Now of course it does mean that you need to download all the stuff again, you know, which if you've got a slow internet connection, which can be a little bit frustrating, but you should find that all your Windows updates work. It certainly worked for me, and certainly for the Insider previews, which are mainly the ones I've been having issues with. So hopefully somebody out there will find that useful. It took me a little while to get that routine together, so I thought I'd share.